It's learning just to quiet my mind and my heart, and it's waiting. And a lot of times I'll wait and I'll just worship quietly. I'll just adore Him quietly, and I'll wait.
I'm just aware that He's there, and I'm not sure how to explain it other than as I go through my daily routines, I'm just know that there is a God and that He's there with me.
Over and over, I hear just this whisper in my ear that he just is saying, I just want to connect with you, or I just want, to be with you. And I hear Him saying that I just want you to abide in me in this time when it's crazy and things aren't always perfect.
I would say the times that I felt the closest to God have usually been during worship experiences, only again because it's a verbal expression. But on the other side of it, where He probably speaks to me more, not necessarily, is through teaching.
I used to think that years and years ago, when my children were small, before I had kids, that it was just easier to seek God then, and that my relationship with God was more rich back then. But I've come to realize that no, it wasn't easier. My relationship hasn't become more rich. Way back then, it was just me and God, Now, it's me and God and kids and husband.
I think I've become more and more aware at this particular time in life that I need to focus more on God, do more studying, more praying, and just be more aware of what I'm doing and whether I'm doing the right thing or not, and whether I'm glorifying Him.
I guess seasons of life, I would like to say that I think I've mellowed somewhat over, now that I'm approaching 50, that things that were extremely important years ago and accomplishments tend to take a back seat. I think you reach a level, whether it's in your career or your personal life, where you're not so much interested in what's ahead of you, but what you leave behind you.
The way that I used to connect with God was mostly going out in the wilderness and hiking in the woods and just really getting alone with God. And then I loved different other phases of life where I would connect with other women in Bible studies and be challenged in that way. And now I'm in a very different stage of life where I have 4 very young children, and I love them dearly, but it is very hard to get just exclusive alone time with God right now.
I think I'm probably more of an introvert, really. I mean, I love to be with people and I love to, be with groups of people, but I treasure my alone time.
I get energy from just being around other people. While I enjoy projects and doing work and things like that, I really enjoy doing that within the context of a team.
One of my characteristics is that I function well on my own, that I don't isolate myself from society, because that's not what God wants us to do. I can function well without without relationship, without people, but that wasn't God's way.
And so what I've been doing is listening to WBCL's mid-morning show with Char Binkley and Lynn Ford. And I've just really been loving it. And it's remarkable that I'm standing in, my kitchen, usually at that time of day. And, motherhood is just dripping right down me. And the chaos of my morning is just crazy. But in some way, that show, God uses that to just prick my heart or move me in some way. And, I'll be standing there at the kitchen sink just crying these tears just of joy that He's still meeting with me.
You always hear about people who get up early in the morning and do things, and I am definitely not a morning person. So I am in, the most productive time for me is usually late afternoon to early evening. And so for me to try to force something because you think that it's, that everybody who's advanced in their spiritual life, gets up at 5 o'clock in the morning and does devotions, that just isn't going to happen for me.
I'm not an early morning person, and there was a time when I tried to do that, But I am just not an early morning person. Give me mid-morning or midnight. And it's taken me a while to be comfortable with that, but you know, and we all serve the same God, but we commune with him in different ways. And I'm glad that I finally come to a place where I realize I don't have to commune with him like someone else communes with him.
No, I don't journal. I've thought about it a lot, but again, it's not kind of the way I'm wired.
You know, I feel like God gives me just what I need for every day, and it's not necessarily a surplus, but it's just what I need to get through this phase of life right now. And I feel like there are other times that I'm going to be drinking through a fire hose again, like I have in the past. But right now, it's just what I need.